what's up everybody? It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I figured I'd do some catching up with some after convention reviews. So I went to Texas Frightmare last year, and I didn't really get to see as many movies as I did in 2018, and yes, I haven't forgotten that I still need to review the rest of the movies I saw my first year at Texas Frightmare, and yeah, I haven't forgotten. I will do them, I promise. And in addition to seeing a movie, well actually I saw two movies, but I only got to see one at the actual convention, last year, I also got to see a whole lot of movies at Screamfest in LA, and I need to talk about those. So brace yourself for a whole bunch of movie reviews. I'm gonna try to pump them out like a machine, especially because we are still in an uncertain time with the virus and whatnot, and we don't know when theaters are going to be open, so I'm going to try to do as much catching up as possible during this time, and I'll try to integrate some new movies as well. The good thing is with the stuff that I did see at Screamfest last year is that they're slowly coming out to the public, so I'll definitely try to jump on those as soon as possible. But for now, I want to talk about VelociPastor. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by his new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. Yes, that is exactly right. That is the actual synopsis. That sums it up very well. So I recently watched it, I believe, day before yesterday as I am filming this, and I kind of did a last minute Discord stream for anybody who wanted to join, because I know a lot of my coworkers and some of my friends on Facebook were mentioning this movie because I guess it, mysteriously popped up somewhere while they were scrolling and were like, oh wow, VelociPastor? That sounds ridiculous. That sounds like a fun, good time. I want to watch this with my friends. And every time I saw it, I had the most fun telling them that yes, they should see it. It is, and still is, the best movie of 2019. I'm serious. I love VelociPastor so much. It did everything right for I guess you want to call you can call it a B movie. So watching it on Discord obviously was my second time watching it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it a third time with Maja, because I told her about it and she's like, oh yeah, I remember you mentioning this movie. And I showed her the trailer, and she is totally on board, and I think she's going to love it because she's a fan of the Sharknado franchise. I'm not super into it, but we like dumb stuff. Sometimes our humor in dumb stuff falls every now and then. It's a rare moment, so I'm taking advantage of it. So if you're listening to me out there, creators of VelociPastor, you will be getting some of my money in the near future, because I am going to be buying the DVD ASAP, as well as the people of Deviant Behavior. I'm going to be buying the DVD of that as well. What to say? So I guess let's go with my initial journey with this movie when I saw it at TFW last year. So I saw this gym with Angeline, and hopefully soon I will have a vlog video up of our experience going to this convention together last year, and it'll have this footage of us talking about how amazing VelociPastor was. So we saw it, like I said, at TFW last year, and there were certain parts like I couldn't really completely enjoy, which was anything that had to do with the subtitles, because there are moments where like there's like two characters that are speaking Chinese, and even then I'm kind of questioning whether it was actual Chinese or fake Chinese. But I had a hard time reading the subtitles, mostly because I'm nearsighted, so I'm sure some of you have seen me with like wearing glasses, just because why not? Because I don't know, glasses make you look smarter. But yeah, so I can't see far away, and so I had a hard time seeing, and I wish they had like a better room to show these like lower budget movies, because they always put it in a small room with like this like standard projector size screen, and when you have a whole room full of people, it's hard to see certain aspects of it because you're all on the same playing field and it's small. Like the room's small, the screen's small. It's just, it's hard to like completely enjoy it. Like, especially if you have to read things. I've kind of had that problem a little bit when I saw TV and Behavior, where I had a hard time like hearing certain things. Like I would miss some stuff, and also it didn't help that I was like way in the back of the room. So at least for this movie, we were like a little closer, but still I had a struggle like reading the subtitles. But I mean, that is no fault of the creators of the movie, it's just more of the setting. But I wish that was just like a little bit better. But anyway, we watched it, a lot of people like laughed, and just, it was great. It was fantastic. It was such a great like experience to have with like a group. And after the movie was over, they introduced the director, and I forgot who the other person was. Maybe he was like a producer or writer or something. I know he is a friend of the director, and they had the actor, the main character of the movie. He was there, and they had like a little bit of a Q&A, so they talked about like where they got the costume, which if I remember correctly, it was like from a high school play or project that they did, and they just happened to still have the costume at their house for some reason, and so they decided to use it. And this movie started out as like a funny little short film, and then they turned it into like a longer feature piece. And it was like, I really enjoyed the Q&A quite a lot. It was very informative and also hilarious, and I loved every bit of it. And also, I think the director was talking about like his dad being like devout. I think he's either Christian or Catholic, but he's like highly religious, and he was like, if I can like make my dad laugh at something that has to do with religion, then we're on a good point. I think that's kind of what he said. They also were doing a giveaway contest for a special VHS copy of the movie, and I think it was a green VHS tape, and they were doing like getting people to come up and do like their best Velociraptor roar. And funny thing, the person who won was an actual pastor, which is great. It was fantastic. Granted, I thought the girl did the best, but I mean, why not pass up the opportunity of the pastor? Later in that weekend, I think it was the final day, I ran back to go get some last minute like gifts for friends, and I went to their table and asked and looked around to see if they had any DVD copies of the movie, and they said no, not yet. We hadn't like distributed them yet. We haven't made them. All we had was VHS copies, and right now we're sold out of those, but we got some free posters. I don't have the poster near me right now, but it was nice having a free poster. And one day when I'm like not in my little purple space, I'll probably frame it or something, or get it signed, because that made me happy, and I'm glad that other people like found out about it, and it just felt like I was in some like VIP club that I already like saw it before everybody else, and it's great. It's a good feeling to see stuff before people, and I want to like keep having that opportunity to do that. That night, that was all we like did, like a quick little vlog and said like how amazing and hilarious it was. There are so many moments that like make this movie great. And for those who like took this movie too seriously or think it was like too stupid, like I don't know what you're talking about. I think this was just the right type of silly, and they were aware of how silly it was, and they like laughed at like how low budget it is and everything. Like, it's very self-aware, and I like good funny movies that are self-aware on how like bad or like low budget that they are, and this is definitely it. Like the whole thing with the priest losing his parents, like that was like one of the starting points of not to take this seriously. Like really in the so he comes out of the church and he's like so happy, like, oh yay, I'm like now officially a priest. I think that's what was going on. And his parents are out there waving and happy, and then all of a sudden the car explodes. And you don't see a car explosion. It's just an empty street with text that says car explosion visual effects. And the priest, he's just screaming in sadness that his parents died. And then they cut back to where this car explosion is, but it's just the same thing. And then they go back to him. And it's just really funny. And then he goes off to China, and it doesn't look anything like what anyone would picture China. It just looks like some random, like, woods area, and they just put China in the text. It's so funny. And I forgot how hilarious this movie was until I watched it a second time on Discord. Because when this pimp shows up, his name is Frankie Mermaid, and I remember the director saying like, yeah, this is like somebody we've worked with before, he's like a friend or something like that. And they didn't really give him a script or anything. He pretty much kind of like ad-libbed and made his own thing. So he already like had the outfit. He already had like what like this character was gonna be. And so when Carol, the hooker, comes up and he's like talking to her and saying like, oh, and money, you know, the usual like pimp and hooker talk. And then he's like, and excuse me to any of my family who's watching this, he asked Carol, what's my name? Like, she says, it's Frankie Mermaid. And he's like, tell me why they call me Frankie Mermaid. And she just mumbles, and I think she has like a lollipop or a cigarette or something in her mouth. And he says, he's like, I can't hear you. I don't understand you. And she says,
'cause you're swimming in bitches.
You're goddamn right.
And I love it. I fell out. That was it. I was deceased. I love this movie so much. And I can't really think of any flaws with it because it is such a great movie. And I think people who don't appreciate it, who don't get it, they just have a different type of humor. They don't like dumb B movies because, I don't know, I guess they want something higher quality or it just misses the mark. I don't know. I don't understand why anyone would not like this movie because it's so funny and entertaining and enjoyable, and I love the characters. I cared about them. I cared about like the priest's struggle and his relationship with Carol and just the ridiculousness of just everything. I mean, this movie has hookers, ninjas, and dinosaurs. And when I told my mom this, she was like, ninjas? Why are there ninjas? I don't know, because just cause. Why not? Let's just have ninjas. Like, I really don't get it. And even the ninjas are completely ridiculous and make no sense whatsoever. So, if you have not seen VelociPastor and you like dumb, like B-movie, like meta, like horror movies, like horror comedy movies, this is definitely for you, because I'll give it I'll give it a perfect score. Why not? Let's just throw it out there. Let's give it a perfect score. This was so good, and I could probably watch this over and over and over again. So just so you know, if you were curious where I did watch it a second time on Discord, I watched this on a streaming site called Hoopla. Usually the streaming site is usually linked to a library, so just, if you have your local library's, library card, like you have an account with your local library, you can access Hoopla for free, and it's on there. I'm sure they're on, the movies on other, streaming platforms as well, but if you don't want to spend any money, and you have a library card, and your library is associated with Hoopla, then you can totally watch it there, because I did, and I'm so happy I watched it again. But like I said, I will be buying it on DVD. I need it on a physical medium. I really, really do. I hope there's commentary and extras on it, because I'm sure there's some good stuff on it. So thank you for watching this after convention review. Hopefully I will be doing more of these with other movies from Texas Frightmare and Screamfest, so just stay tuned for that. And if you want to continue to see more of my stuff, you can hit that subscribe button below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want early access to my videos or anything that I post here or on my blog, Mighty Cult, you can jump onto Patreon. I do a whole bunch of fun, interesting things on there and exclusive. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.